Tech divers are always swapping around their hoses to find the perfect hose length that makes things streamlined and efficient. And as they're looking for specific hoses and hose lengths, they've got two options: the standard rubber hose or the braided hose. Now, I'm not too picky about using braided versus rubber hoses. Some people have really strong opinions on this, and it's definitely true that there have been batches of braided hoses that have had pretty catastrophic failures, including the inside lining coming off, going down and actually clogging the regulator. But there's been plenty of bad batches of rubber hoses as well, and I've seen both of these hoses fail. When it comes to advice on braided versus rubber, generally, I'm not that picky. I usually go with rubber because I don't like how the braided feels. But as far as performance goes and prepping for a tech class or a tech dive, I don't think there's a big difference to be had between these two, with one major exception. And that exception is the Longhose. So the Longhose is our 7-foot long hose that's used for single file gas sharing. And this is a requirement anytime we're in an overhead environment like a shipwreck or a cave. The reason I urge people not to use a braided hose on the Longhose is because of the chance of it kinking. Now, both rubber and braided hoses, if we squeeze them hard enough, can kink and cut off the air supply. However, it's a lot easier for a braided hose to get a little memory loop, and it doesn't take very much pressure on that memory loop to cut off gas supply. This is especially a big deal in side mount. If you're a side mount diver who has their valves down and their regulators up here, and that Longhose has to take a big bend, especially if you don't have a turret regulator, you have a high chance of cutting off the gas supply to your buddy if you're using a braided Longhose. You can see in this example here, I'm squeezing the rubber hose really hard to get it to cut off, and it does cut off the air supply. And we can see here it takes way less force to kink that braided Longhose and cut off the gas supply. Now, I'm very picky about rubber Longhoses over braided Longhoses, and part of that's because I've had two different situations where my gas supply was cut off during a training exercise because of a braided Longhose. Necklace regs, inflator hoses, stage regs, whatever you want to go with there as far as hoses, but keep those Longhoses rubber to avoid that kink that we can get with those braided Longhoses. If you've got questions about choosing equipment for technical diving, give me a holler, and thank you for watching.